Hey guys, welcome to a ridiculous book haul. This has not happened at once. This is numerous trips to the thrift store. There is one book outlet from spring still. And then my friend gifted me some books as a belated Christmas present. So that was kind of fun in June. So I think I'm going to start off with that. I don't know exactly which one came first, and as for like which thrift haul some of these are belong to, I have no idea. It's all kind of a mess. Bear with me. We're going to start with, so my friend Chantel at An Intentional Life, I will leave her channel linked down below. She took me out thrifting one day as a belated Christmas present because it's a long story, but winter was really weird. So these are the books she bought me when we went thrifting together. So because there's a lot of books in this haul, I'm just going to go fairly quickly. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clark. I don't know about this one other than that it's a fantasy. It is huge. It is 782 pages. And I just saw this one on Peru's Project on her channel. She read this one, wasn't overly thrilled with it, but I think she gave it still like a 3 or 4 or something. And I think Erica from The Perks of Books was recently talking about this one as well. So we've got that chunker. Then I found these two classic hardcover editions, Sherlock Holmes and Kidnapped. They are of the same style, the Junior Deluxe Edition. So it's really pretty hardback, and this one I've never heard of before. I don't know if you guys have heard of it or not. Let me know in the comments below. And then of course Sherlock Holmes. I only have the Hounds of the Baskervilles, is that what it's called? I only have that book of his. I don't have any of his short stories, so that will be nice to have. We found The Mysterious Benedict Society. I've heard lots of good things about this series, especially from Lindsay at the blog Books for Christian Girls. I'll leave her channel link down below as well. She loves this series, so I found this one, and it's not number 1. I think it's the second book in the series, but anyway, found this one. And then these two are the Baker Street Mysteries. So Baker Street, that is the street that Sherlock Holmes lived on, right? Baker Street? Beaker Street, maybe. I think it's anyway supposed to be a play on Sherlock Holmes. The Case of the Invisible Thief and The Kidnapped Shadow. So Thomas Brace Hoffey, that is the author, and these are classics. I don't know if they're considered classics, but they're old, so looking forward to these guys. And then The Black Pearl by Scott Odell. I have been really kind of keeping my eye open for piratey books, ship books, ocean books. And then this one is written by Scott Odell, who wrote Island of the Blue Dolphins, and I read that one as a kid and as well in May for my childhood reading. And I liked that one just as much as I did when I was a kid, so I figure same author, kind of a ocean-y theme. I'm gonna pick it up. Also, let me know if you've read that one. Okay, moving along. Where do we go from here, guys? I don't know. Okay, so I went thrifting again the other day. I went thrifting a lot. Let's just say since the thrift stores have opened, I have been a frequent visitor. So, let's start with this one. Saint by Ted Dekker. No idea anything about this. I've only read 2 Ted Dekker books. I've never even heard anything about this one. But yeah, willing to give it a shot. The cover looks intriguing. And I try and have like the books surrounding me. So, let's go. Okay, this one has a bit of a story. This one I have seen at the same thrift store for probably a year. And I it always catches my eye, and I always leave it because it's a hardback, so it's a little bit more expensive than the soft covers. And this time I was just like, okay, that's it. Let's just pick this book up. Yeah, so St. Julian, a novel by Walter Wangerin Jr. So it's a Christian fiction, I believe, and I think it is a fantasy, but it's also an allegory, I think. It's blurbed by Sophie Burnham, Eugene H. Peterson, John Wilson, and Jill Pelez Baumgardner. So some of those I recognize. This one is Secrets, Lies, and Alibis by Patricia H. Rushford and Harrison James. Again, no clue, but it's a suspense, and it's book 1 in the McAllister Files. I think it's worth a try. I've got The Realms Thereunder by Ross Lawhead. I can't remember who it was that asked me in the comments on another video if I had ever read Ross Lawhead, because I'm really enjoying Stephen Lawhead, and I guess Ross is Stephen's son, I think. And I said I had never even heard of Ross Lawhead before, and then I found this one in the thrift store. So, and it is book 1 in the Ancient Earth trilogy. So I'm really excited to get to this one. I'm hoping I like it just as much as I like his dad's books. Okay, so we've got book 1 and 2 of the Cape Refuge series, Cape Refuge and Southern Storm by Terry Blackstock. I remember seeing these a lot when I worked at a Christian bookstore when I was in my teens. So yeah, I am looking forward to giving these ones a try. I think there is at least one more in the series, so if I like these, I'd have to find that one somehow. Then I've got The Passion of Mary Margaret by Lisa Sampson. This one is published by Thomas Nelson, so Christian fiction. It just said, Mary Margaret yearned to dedicate her life to the Lord. Jesus had another idea. So I'm really interested in that. It sounds like maybe Jesus completely flips her plan of life upside down, which he tends to do. And yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to reading her story. And then I've got this Manga Messiah book. I have heard of this book. It's just like in your typical anime manga style, but it is, I guess, at least part of the story of Jesus. So I wanted to read this one to see if it was biblically accurate, if I could recommend it to people. I know one of my nieces is into anime, so I want to kind of know if I really could recommend this one or if it's like way off. It does say at the back, adapted from the ancient texts, so that's leaning in the right direction, so hopefully it goes somewhere good. Let me know if you have read that one as well. Shark Island by Joan Druitt. This one, again, is more for the cover that I picked it up, and probably because it has the word shark and island in the cover, two of my favorite things. Yeah, but I've never heard of this one. I was with Chantel when I saw this one, and she, I guess, looked it up, and it is part of a series, and we're not sure if they have to be read in order or not, but if they do, this is book 2, so I will have to, if I like that one, I'll have to find the rest. And I picked up this in pretty good condition, The Two Towers, J.R.R. Tolkien. I picked up this copy because I have the first one in this edition, and I would like to get the whole trilogy in this edition. So yeah, got that one. Next up, so after Chantal and I went to the thrift store for my Christmas thrifting, I ended up going a different day after that, and I saw this, and I couldn't leave it. It was $8, you guys. So I got the whole box set of the Mysterious Benedict collection. So the books are in like mint condition. It's really, really cool. The box is only I mean, it looks like it's tore right there, and so someone has put like packing tape on it, which is fine because it's clear. It looks like they at least tried to preserve the look of it, and because the books are in such good condition, I just couldn't leave it for $8. So now I have 2 of the second book, but I will have to just re-thrift the other one. Where should I put this? I want to put this somewhere where you guys will see it. So I ended up being stuck at a thrift store for basically the whole afternoon one day when my car needed to be in the shop for maintenance. So I was like, how can I kill time? Like their thrift or the fitting rooms aren't open, so I don't really want to shop for clothes. What else can I look for? Books, of course. So I decided going through all of the kids' books one by one would be something that would take me a long time and kill the time. So that's what I did, and I found a ton. And I just decided, you know what? I'm just collecting for next May when I do, when I revisit the childhood videos, I guess. So there was a lot that were from my childhood that I didn't remember without seeing the cover. So You Are Special by Max Lucado. Yeah, I don't remember this one too vividly. I think it came out when I was a little bit older, but it still counts. There. Okay. And then I got Adventure at Moon Bay Towers by Marian Engel. This one is not from my childhood, but I just fell in love with the illustrations and the story format, and I just genuinely want to read this as an adult, so I picked it up. The Meat Eaters Arrive. Totally forgot this one until I saw the cover. Yeah, definitely can't wait to get to that one. Let's go a little faster. So Pigs, Robert Munch, The Get Along Gang. This one we do own, but it's all in rough shape, so this one's in good shape. And then we've got The Dentist from the Black Lagoon, The Vice Principal from the Black Lagoon, and The Librarian from the Black Lagoon. And then we've got If You Give a Moose a Muffin, If You Give a Pig a Party, If You Give a Pig a Pancake, and If You Give a Dog a Donut. And then we have Seesaw, Saskatchewan, which isn't from my childhood, but I am from Saskatchewan, so there is, that is kind of fun. We've got A Good Morning Canada, which is a special edition celebrating Canada's 150th birthday, which was a few years ago already, but yeah, I thought this would be good to have in the collection. This one, A Crow Named Joe, completely forgot about this one until I saw the cover, and I'm really, really stoked to reread this one. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's got an inscription from someone. Oh, that's so cute. The Paper Bag Princess, Pinky and Rex and the Mean Old Witch. Totally forgot about Pinky and Rex till I saw this book. A Promise is a Promise by Robert Munch. The True Story of the Three Little Pigs. Caramba, this one is not from my childhood, but because it is written and illustrated by Marie-Louise Gay, who wrote one of my favorite kids' books of all time, Rainy Day Magic, that I wanted to try this one. Then I've got A Berenstain Bears, Get in a Fight, and I've got 2 Mercer Mayer, Just Go to Bed, and Just for You. All right, those are, oh, and then this one. Let's talk about Being Destructive. I remember these books so much from the church library. I would always get these. Each book was teaching about a different struggle that kids go through. So there is that one. I picked up Ziggy, What Animals Say. This one has nothing to do with my childhood, but I just could not get over the illustrations. This is so vintage and adorable. I just love it. Love it. Okay, carrying on. You guys, I told you this was bonkers. So, okay, so I need to make more space. We've got The Bait of Satan by John Bevere. Shattered Dreams by Larry Crabb, God's Unexpected Pathway to Joy. The Power of Praying Through the Bible by Stormy O'Martian. I have The Power of a Praying Wife and The Power of a Praying Woman, so I thought this would be good as well. I've got 52 Weeks with Jesus, Fall in Love with the One Who Changed Everything by James Merritt. So this one is blurbed by Andy Stanley, and looks like it's a bit of a devotional. I don't typically do well with devotional type books, but I think that one will be good. I hope it will be. So we've got Forgotten God by Francis Chan. When Couples Pray Together, Creating Intimacy and Spiritual Wholeness by David and Jan Stoop. Strategic Prayer, Applying the Power of Targeted Prayer. I know there's a lot of books in here revolving around prayer, and that was not intentional on my part, but I suspect it was intentional on God's part, so I think I'm going to be reading about prayer in the next little bit. Intercessory Prayer by Dutch Sheets. This one is very famous. We've got Slaying the Giants in Your Life by David Jeremiah. I know my mother-in-law really likes David Jeremiah. Fearless by Max Lucado. Living Life Backward by David Gibson. This one I actually have never heard of the author. How Ecclesiastes Teaches Us to Live in Light of the End. And a couple of years ago, our pastor did a whole sermon series kind of on keeping heaven very much in our mind because it influences how we live on earth. So yeah, I'm hoping this one will be good. I mean, a lot of these books, because I haven't read them, I don't know if they're theologically correct, but I'm willing to give it a try, have an open mind, but that means our supper is ready. But yeah, just kind of filtering everything through the Word of God. So this one is God Enters Stage Left by Tim Day. That one sounded interesting. And we've got Living Crazy Love. This is a companion study book with the book Crazy Love by Francis Chan. So now we've got the companion study book, which will be good. Sacred Marriage by Gary Thomas. The Love Dare by the Kendrick Brothers. Before Amen, The Power of a Simple Prayer by Max Lucado. And Sacred Influence, How God Uses Wives to Shape the Souls of Their Husbands by Gary Thomas. Pretty stoked about those Christian nonfiction. We've got Wild Oats and Overcoats, but this is a collection of poetry and prose by members of the Saskatchewan Writers Club. So I thought that would be really interesting, so it's just short stories and poems. Then we've got The Light of Eden, or Iden, not sure, by Karen Hancock. The Shock of Night by Patrick W. Carr. It's the Darkwater Saga. This is by Bethany House. I actually know that this one is by Bethany House as well. So these ones are Christian fiction, possibly fantasy, I think. This one goes along with this one, The Shattered Vigil by Patrick Carr. This one, they don't have numbers on them, but they are part of the same saga, so I guess I'll have to figure out which one comes first. The Wishing Jar by Penelope J. Stokes. I got the Treasure Box, I believe it was called, in the same kind of series. So I had no idea it was even part of a series, but I saw this one and I'm super excited to get to that. Of course. And then we've got Miracle at the Higher Grounds Cafe by Max Lucado. We've got In Harm's Way. This is book 3 of the Heroes of Quantico, but I think I have one from the series downstairs in my bookshelf. So by Irene Hannon. And then Dangerous Illusions by Irene Hannon. I also have never read any Irene Hannon, but I have a good feeling about it. Hopefully that's correct. Here's a few more childhood ones that I found. So, Girl Talk, Welcome to Junior High. I don't remember ever reading these books, but we had the board game, so I thought that'd be really fun to go through. The Indian Captive by Lois Lenski. This is the story of Mary Jemison. This is from the Trophy Newbery series, I guess. It's not a series, edition. This one I did not read in school, but I'm really interested to read it. So yeah, it's middle grade. This one, Watchdog and the Coyotes by Bill Wallace. I remember Bill Wallace from my childhood. I don't know if it was this book that I read, but I definitely remember that author name. I've got Where the Red Fern Grows. I actually have this movie as well, so that would be really fun in May to read the book and watch the movie by Wilson Rawls. And then we've got Pamela by Judy Baer. This particular one I read in high school from our library, our school library, and for some reason, it could be that it's called Pamela, and I have a sister named Pamela. So it could be that, but there was a reason that I distinctively remember this book. So I had been looking for it actually in the past years, and I couldn't find it. I could see it. It was like one of those weird things on Amazon that you could find, but it was like not from Amazon, a third-party seller or something, whatever. So I just left it all the time, and now I found it at the thrift store. It was really cool. Carrying on, I found two middle grade books that, like, I'm not a middle grade reader, but these two sounded interesting. So I've got Heir Apparent by Vivian Van Velde. That is a very full name. Win the Game or Begin Again and Again and Again. So this has something to do with a virtual reality game, which sounds really neat. So we've got that one. Okay, sorry about that interruption. My memory card filled up. So let's continue on. Where were we? I think we were talking about The Eye of the World. Lots of people are talking about it on BookTube right now. It's a really long series. We will see if and when I get to that one. The Testament by John Grisham. This one was highly recommended by Oshina at Oshina Gotta Read 'Em All. I'll leave her channel link down below. It was so funny because a few days after her video, I saw this at the thrift store, so I was like, I'll try it. And then we've got The 100-Year-Old Man by Jonas Jonasson. And this one I've also seen at the thrift store numerous times. It kind of gives me A Man Called Uva vibes. So yeah, I think I'm gonna give it a try, see what I think. Pirate Latitudes by Michael Crichton, again with the piratey themed video, or with the pirate themed books. I wanted to pick this one up. This actually has a little bit larger font. That's gonna be kind of nice. So there's that one. And then I have an Agatha Christie, The Seven Dials Mystery. The only Agatha Christie that I have ever read is Murder on the Orient Express. I liked the movie more than the book, but my friend Chantel really loves these books, so I'm willing to give Agatha Christie another chance. We've got The Princess and the Goblin, which is like this super vintage book, and I've never heard of it. It's by George MacDonald. It says, I regard George MacDonald as my master, says C.S. Lewis. So I'm guessing George MacDonald inspired C.S. Lewis, which says a lot. So yeah, pretty interested to read this book. And then Hind's Feet on High Places by Hannah Hurnard. This one is really, really popular in the Christian market. I believe it's fiction, includes the author's intriguing story behind this book. Okay, so fiction with the author's real life story, I guess? I don't know. It's really famous, so I figured I would pick it up and give it a try at some point. Then I've saved the book outlet purchases for the end, where I picked up 5 Worlds, The Sand Warrior. I have heard a little bit about this on BookTube, and it sounds really interesting, and I love the art style, so I'm really interested to get to this one. And I'm going to be reading this one in July, so you've already probably seen it in my TBR video. We've got Robert Whitlow's Chosen People. Actually, this one might be from the thrift store. I'm not entirely sure. So, yeah, don't know anything about this one, but there it is. We've got Black Ink, Literary Legends on the Peril, Power, and Pleasure of Reading and Writing. So this one I thought was really interesting. I believe it is the history of Black literature, perhaps. So really interested to read that one. And then we've got The Jesus of Suburbia by Mike Eyre. Don't know a ton about this one, but have we lost Jesus among the trappings of Christian religion? So sounds interesting. I guess that one should have been in my Christian nonfiction stack. As well with this one, Anything by Jenny Allen. I borrowed this one from Chantel about 2 years ago and I loved it. And so I saw it on Book Outlet and I picked this guy up. And we've got Copper Sun by Sharon M. Draper. This one says, stolen from her village, sold to the highest bidder. 15-year-old Amari has only one thing left of her own, hope. So interested to get to that one. I guess that one should have been with more of the middle grade. The last two is A Long Walk to Water, based on a true story by Linda Sue Park. This one, Naya goes to the pond to fetch water for her family. She walks 8 hours every day. So, okay, this is about two young people, two stories, one country, Sudan. One story is in 2008 and one story is from 1985. So, pretty interested to get to those. And then this last one. I saw this one at the thrift store. Apparently my thrift store and Book Outlet got mixed up here somewhere. But this one is more just of a brain teaser book, but it was all blank, hadn't been used yet, so I thought that would be interesting. Challenge your brain with logic puzzles from world famous high IQ society. So yeah, it looks kind of good. Something that you could do like on a road trip or something, if we're ever allowed to do those again. So yeah, that sounds like fun. This is my ridiculous book haul. Thanks for watching this video, guys. I know it was super long, but I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Hey guys, editing Holly here. Sorry to interrupt the video, but I just felt the need to say, who was I kidding when I gave myself a book thrifting limit? Like, that was a joke.